What's up, party people, and welcome to Stoniecast number 154 and season 5, episode 16 of Thoughts and Hunches, Making Money in Bunches and Sucker Punches. Voice is back, and so is your boy Stony, coming right back at you for the 154th time. And I'd like to welcome all of my fellow shady characters, lowlifes, scumbags, hoodlums, heathens, scoundrels, altar boys with unhealthy relationships with their priests, hustlers, wise guys, people that give themselves nicknames and speak in the third person. Completely unacceptable. Foul-mouthed, raging alcoholics, MLB players that have got into a fight with Bryce Harper. You know who you are. Cheats, disasters that take pride in a $4 profit on the WNBA. Again, unacceptable. Gangsters, fienders, and degenerates. Let's face it, basically anybody with a massive gambling problem. If you're new to the show, hey, you probably fit into a few of those categories, so welcome, because you're one of us. One of us. One of us. Gooba gabba, one of us. We accept it. Sorry, sometimes you get a little excited there, carried away. Hey, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down in the lower right-hand corner. Ring that bell, like it, get notified every time I put out a new video. To spread the word is also very easy. Just tell the other degenerates and lowlifes to go to YouTube and enter Thoughts and Hunches in the search bar. That'll take you directly to my page so you can get dialed into everything I drop on you. Also, if you're new and you don't know what's what with this channel, it's college and pro football winners and college basketball winners. That's it. The books don't expect a guy like me to deliver this many winners, right? That's all I do every single week. I'm an outlier and I'm a disruptor. I'm like the Beastie Boys. I disrupt.
Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene.
That's what I do. That's precisely what I do. I go to the mattresses and get the info for you every week in order to get you to the window with a ticket to cash. Now, before I get to the picks, as usual, I have some thoughts.
Give me all you got. Listen, give me all you got.
That's how it rolls, all right? Now, I don't really have a lot. I mean, I do have a lot of thoughts, but I don't want this to be an hour-long podcast. So this week, I'm just doing my college football playoff rankings, okay? Now, full disclosure, I have not seen the college football rankings that came out last night. Didn't see it, came on too late. Well, it came on, but I was watching college basketball. So I didn't really pay much attention to it, right? So I don't know who's in, who's out, right? And there's the second to last one. The big one comes on Sunday. That's the final playoff bracket. Now, no more top 12 for me. It's time to tell you who I believe deserves to be in the college football playoff based on the system. No rankings. This has nothing to do with last night's latest reveal. These are my picks. Sunday will be the final CFP decision, like I said, and in Stoniecast 155 next week, I'll tell you what the committee got wrong. Here we go. You ready? I'm going to start now. No rankings. I'm just telling you who's in. Start with the Big Ten. 4 teams in, regardless of what happens this weekend. Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, and Indiana are all in. The SEC has 3 teams in, and they are Texas, Georgia, and Tennessee in, regardless of what happens this weekend. Notre Dame is in. That's 8. Now, those 8 teams that I just mentioned are in no matter what happens, okay? The Mountain West Championship between Boise State and UNLV will get bid number 9. The Big 12 champion will also get in, and that's either Iowa State or Arizona State. That makes 10. The ACC champion will get in, and that's either SMU or Clemson. That's 11. That leaves 1 spot for the remaining teams. Now, if Clemson beats SMU in the ACC title game, I believe they both will get in, with SMU taking the last spot, because Clemson gets the automatic berth by winning. If SMU wins, which I believe they will, not only is Clemson out, But now Alabama, Ole Miss, Miami, and South Carolina are the remaining 4 teams trying to get the last bid. I believe that Alabama will get the last bid over South Carolina based on the Tide beating USC. Ole Miss and Miami are on the outside looking in, with Miami really far outside because they haven't beaten anybody. We'll see what happens this weekend, and especially Sunday when the final bracket is revealed. Now, as for the week that was, college hoops was good but not great. While I struggled on Saturday, I kept posting winning days all week, but they weren't big ones. 45 wins, 37 losses, and 1 push is not bad at all. 55%. I'll take that. College football was just a huge beatdown that I put on the books, period, right? I hit both sides on Thanksgiving, went 4-3 on Black Friday, so I was 6-3 heading into Saturday, where I dialed up a 10-5 day, and that includes a few late losses, including the Degenerate Special. 16-8 for the week, though, that's as good as it gets, right? 66%? Come on. The NFL was a different story, though. 1-3 on Thanksgiving, a win on Black Friday, and a whole lot of losses in the 1 p.m. window on Sunday had me playing catch-up. I did well in the afternoon and hit the Sunday night game, but a bad beat for the ages cost me on Monday night, and I wound up 8-9, which is no good. And it's going to drop my season numbers in the NFL, but facts are facts, and if you add it all up, it's yet another winning week in the black, my 7th straight winning week. Now, let's take a look at the updated numbers. Last week, 68 wins, 54 losses, 1 push, 55.74%. Should have been much better if I had a respectable week in the NFL. NCAA football regular season for the season, 180 wins, 118 losses, 1 push, 60.4%, over 60% for the first time this season, and there's only 10 games left. NFL regular season, 118 wins, 83 losses, 6 pushes, 58.7%. That's a full point drop, as I was on the doorstep to 60%. I really was. But last week, not good. No good. NCAA basketball regular season, 172 wins, 127 losses, 2 pushes, 57.52%, a little down, but 57, still 57. So overall, everything that I've given you, all 15 weeks, every pick this season, 518 wins, 379 losses, 9 pushes, 57.75%. Numbers rising everywhere. That can only mean one thing.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Now, remember that all of these picks are 100% free. So for all you touts out there that give out 75 to 80% guaranteed winners, come on. All right. First of all, we all know you're full of shit. Plus, with me, you're charging for these picks.
Oh!
Yeah, I mean, you're charging for these picks, and I'm not. All you got to do is come to YouTube every week, and I'll drop my plays on you for free. Quick note, even though this weekend is NCAA Football Conference Championship weekend, I'm still going to count these picks as part of the regular season, because after this weekend, there's only the standalone game next weekend, the Army-Navy game. After that, it's bowl season. So I'll separate my regular season picks from my bowl picks, and the regular season concludes next weekend. You ready? I think you are. Okay, away we go. Episode 15.
Just win, baby.
That's right, Al. Love you, Al. Miss you, Al. After going 7-8 in college hoops yesterday, all of a sudden, tonight turns into a big night, because you don't want to get too far behind early in the week. This is only day 2 of the week, and there's a lot of catching up to do, but we're 7-8, right? A solid day today will put that 7-8 to rest. Here's what I've got for tonight. 6:30 Eastern on FS1 in the Big 12 Big East Challenge. I'm on number 25 Connecticut at home, laying 3 and a hook versus 15th ranked Baylor. 6:30 Eastern on the Big 10 Network. I like Ohio State catching 6 on the road at Maryland. 7 Eastern, right here in Music City, where I will be in attendance tonight. I'm on Belmont, -5 over Illinois State. 7:15 Eastern in the ACC SEC Challenge. I like Virginia on the road, +18 at 13th ranked Florida. Here come the dogs. You ready? 7:15 Eastern in the ACC SEC Challenge. Give me 10th ranked Alabama, +1.5 versus number 20 North Carolina with a little sprinkle on the money line.
Sprinkle me, man.
That-a-boy 40. Good one at 8 Eastern in the Big 12 Big East Challenge, and I'm going to dance with 5th ranked Marquette catching 5.5 at number 6 Iowa State. 8:30 Eastern on FS1 in the Big 12 Big East Challenge. I like Creighton +4.5 at home versus top-ranked Kansas. How big are your balls? You want to do a little sprinkle? By all means, go ahead. Kansas is due to lose. Creighton's a tough team. Unranked, but it's still a good team. 8:30 Eastern on the Big 10 Network. I like Minnesota at home, +4.5 versus Michigan State with a sprinkle. 40, take it.
Sprinkle me, man. Sprinkle.
Attaboy. Mountain West action, 9 Eastern. I like Wyoming, +19 big points on the road at Utah State. 9:15 Eastern on ESPN in the ACC SEC Challenge. I like 9th ranked Duke at home, -3.5 versus 2nd ranked Auburn to break my streak of dogs there. 9:15 Eastern on SEC Network in the ACC SEC Challenge. Give me 18th ranked Pittsburgh +5.5 at Mississippi State. SEC Challenge at 9:15 Eastern on ESPN2. I'll roll with Texas -2.5 at North Carolina State. 9:15 Eastern on ACC Network. I'm on Vanderbilt -5.5 at Virginia Tech. 10:30 Eastern on FS1, little Mountain West action. Give me Fresno State catching 12 and a hook at home versus number 24 San Diego State. And finally, 10:30 Eastern on Big 10 Network, I like 12th ranked Oregon -5.5 at Southern Cal. That's 15 more plays tonight to bounce back from last night's 7 and 8 starts of the week, all right? So moving on. After going 1 and 3 on Thanksgiving last week, I dropped to 8 and 9 on the season, right? On Thursdays. So let's get NFL Week 14 started tomorrow night, 8:15 Eastern on Amazon at Ford Field in the Motor City, where the 11-1 Lions are 3.5-point home chalk versus 9-3 Green Bay, and the total set at 51 and a hook. The Lions are the best team in the NFL right now, I think, right? Although I think Philly is better, but the Lions are whatever. Anyway, we'll get to that. But the Lions should have lost on Thanksgiving to the Bears in a game that cost Matt Eberflus his job in Chicago. The Pack have won 6 of 7 with their only loss at home to Detroit last month. Weather isn't a factor as they're playing indoors and the Lions are all that. But I'm rolling with the Pack here, catching 3.5 because Detroit is due for a loss. And it may come next week to Buffalo, but whether they win or not, Green Bay's the play here. Last Friday was unlike other Fridays because of so many games. But after going 4 and 3 on Black Friday, I'm now 22 and 15 this year on Fridays. Now with Conference Championship weekend in our laps, let's start it all off. Friday night on CBS Sports Network at Amherst Stadium in Jacksonville, Alabama, where 8-4 Jacksonville State is a 4.5-point home favorite over 8-4 Western Kentucky, and the total's 57.5 in the Conference USA Championship. JSU lost 3 straight to start the season and then ripped off 8 straight to win the regular season title and the right to host this game, even though they lost last week at Western Kentucky. The Hilltoppers beat Jayville State last week in Bowling Green to snap a 2-game skid. Western needed a win last week to get here, while Jayville State didn't show them much, knowing they would probably face the Hilltoppers. Now, the problem here is JSU's all-conference quarterback Tyler Huff will play, even though he left last week's game with a leg injury. State runs the ball while Western throws it. This could be a good one, and I'm on Western Kentucky here, plus 4.5 on the road. Friday night, 8 Eastern on ABC at Mitchie Stadium in West Point. 9-3 Tulane's a 5.5-point road favorite at number 24 Army, and the total's 46.5 in the American Athletic Conference Championship game. Army's only loss was 2 weeks ago to Notre Dame, and they're undefeated in the AAC, though they still have Navy next week. Tulane was rolling and had won 8 in a row until Memphis took them out last week. What was it? It was one of my many winners that happened.
Hoo-ah!
Yeah, something like that. You're welcome, by the way, for that. These two haven't met, so this is another game where Army's solid defense is tasked with trying to slow down one of the nation's best rushing offenses. Tulane's Mekhi Hughes, 1,300 yards and 15 touchdowns are eye-popping. But with Army, we know what we're going to get. The triple option, led by option maestro quarterback Bryson Daly, who also had 1,300 yards rushing, but his 25 touchdowns are ridiculous. This is another good matchup, and I always feel like I'm betting against America when I go against the Service Academy, but this ain't about America. This is about American money, baby. Let's go large. Right, Josh? Tulane, minus 5.5 is the play. The last game Friday night is at 8 Eastern on Big Fox on the Smurf turf in Boise, where 10th-ranked Boise State is a 4-point home favorite versus 19th-ranked Nevada, Las Vegas, and the total's 58.5 in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. This is basically the first game of the college football playoff, as the winner is almost certain to get the Group of 5 invite to the CFP. Boise's only loss this season was way back in week 2 at top-ranked Oregon, and they've won 10 straight since, including a win at UNLV a month and a half ago. The Rebels' only 2 losses this year were both in October at Syracuse and at home to Boise. Ashton Genty's Boise's workhorse, who's going to get an invite to New York in a couple weeks as a Heisman finalist. He won't win, but he's going to get invited. 2,300 yards and 28 touchdowns will do that, though. UNLV's combo of quarterback Haj Malik Williams to wideout Ricky White III has been unstoppable this year, and they need that connection on Friday night. Is this an upset? It could be, but I won't go that far. I will take UNLV, though, catching 4. Moving on to Saturday at noon Eastern on ESPN at Ford Field in the Motor City. 8-4 Miami, Ohio is a 2.5-point favorite over 9-3 Ohio, and the total's 44.5 in the Mid-American Conference Championship game. Miami's won 7 straight, including a win at home versus Ohio 2 months ago, but they still finished a game behind the Bobcats in the MAC. Ohio's the top seed and have won 7 of 8, with their only loss during that stretch at Miami. They're both playing well, and neither have played a close game since October. Ohio runs it while Miami throws it. I like the rushing attack of the Bobcats, so I'm on Ohio here, plus 2.5 with a sprinkle.
Sprinkle me, man.
Attaboy 40. Saturday, let's move on. Noon Eastern on ABC at Jerry World in Arlington. 12th ranked Arizona State is a 2.5-point favorite versus number 16 Iowa State, and the total's 50.5 in the Big 12 Conference Championship game. This one's also a college football playoff game, as the winner gets the Big 12's automatic and probably only berth into the dance in 2 weeks. ASU has won 5 straight and 7 of 8 in their first season in the Big 12, despite being unanimously picked to finish last in the conference. Iowa State's only 2 losses were a month ago, but Matt Campbell's squad has been solid all season behind quarterback Rocco Becht. ASU quarterback Sam Levitt isn't the athlete that Becht is, but he doesn't have to be. Do everything back Cam Scatabo has been unbelievable in his second year in Tempe after transferring from my alma mater, Sacramento State. Stingers up. Wideout Jordan Tyson is a future first-round NFL draft pick when he decides to go for ASU. These squads are fairly equal in all total stats, so I have no choice but to ride with the hot hand and take Arizona State. And while I'm at it, I'm going to take the over here as well, as both teams can score. ASU -2.5 and over 50.5. Saturday, 4 Eastern on ABC at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Hotlanta. Second-ranked Texas is a 2.5-point favorite over number 5 Georgia, and the total's 48.5 in the Southeastern Conference Championship game. Texas's only loss was 2 months ago when Georgia came in and beat them up in Austin. Georgia's losses to Bama and Ole Miss were glaring, but the Dogs always seem to follow a bad performance with great ones. Georgia Tech took UGA to 8 overtimes last week, and another one of my winners.
Hoo-ah!
That's right, Al. To you, tell him, Al. How Texas is favored here against a team that already beat them and on the road in Hot Town doesn't make much sense to me. In fact, it stinks. The SEC's been a mess all year, and it doesn't fit that. Texas only has one loss. Georgia needs this one more than Texas because the committee will have some splaining to do if UGA gets in with 3 losses over a team like, say, Alabama, Alabama beat Georgia. I'm going against the wise guys here. Yeah, because of the massive coaching mismatch. Give me Kirby Smart every day and all day over Steve Sarkisian and his multiple outfits. Not going to happen. UGA +2.5 with a sprinkle.
Sprinkle me, man.
Attaboy. 7:30 Eastern on ESPN at Cajun Field in Lafayette. 10-2 Lafayette is a 5.5-point home favorite over 9-3 Marshall, and the total's 57.5 in the Sun Belt Conference Championship game. Louisiana, better known as Ooh La La, has won 8 of 9. But aside from the last 2 weeks, they haven't exactly been covering a lot of numbers. Marshall's won 6 straight and needed a double overtime win last week over James Madison just to get to this game. And they covered 5 of those 6, including last week as a 4-point dog. The hot hand here is the play here. Has to be. As well as the Thundering Herds rushing attack. Marshall +5.5. 8 Eastern on CBS at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Top-ranked Oregon is a 3.5-point favorite versus third-ranked Penn State, and the total's 49.5 in the Big Ten Championship. Both teams have had some close calls, though Oregon is yet to lose, where Penn State was beaten at home by Ohio State last month. This game only matters for the rankings in the CFP, as both teams are firmly in, and for Oregon's undefeated season. All right? The winner of this game probably gets the number 1 overall seed. Although if Texas beats Georgia in the SEC finals, Texas could get the number 1 seed, but that's just number 1 overall. The top 4 teams get byes. So, that's how that goes. Now, both teams have had plenty of blowout wins as well, right? And they both got Ohio State at home. Oregon won, though. That's the difference. After Ohio State was beaten by Michigan last week, and another one of my many winners.
Hoo-ah!
Attaboy, Al. Let him know. You're welcome, by the way. We now have to question how good Ohio State really is, considering they're not playing in this game. Sure, Michigan isn't nearly as good as in past seasons, and a wise man once said that Penn State beats everyone not named Ohio State or Michigan. You can add Oregon to that. Ducks -3.5. 2 straight degenerate special losses has me 8-6-1 now on the season. So this week's late night get right goes at 8 Eastern on ABC at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, where 8th-ranked Southern Methodist is a 2.5-point favorite over number 18 Clemson, and the total's 56.5 in the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship game. With only one loss in conference to Louisville a month and a half ago, Clemson needs this one to get in. After their third loss to South Carolina last week in another one of my winners.
Hoo-ah!
Attaboy, Al. Just keeping you on your toes, making sure you're listening. You're welcome for that. SMU's only loss this year was 3 months ago to BYU, and they've since ripped off 9 in a row to roll through the ACC unblemished. The Mustangs have also covered 7 of those 9, and I believe are in the CFP even if they lose this one. SMU has done it with a balanced offense and a defense that gets after the quarterback. I like Clemson, but they were exposed by South Carolina last week. SMU's red hot and still very underrated. SMU minus 2.5 to close out the week. Now, before I get to the NFL, next week there's only one college football game, and that's a traditional standalone Army-Navy matchup. So the Degenerate Special Plays in Stoniecast will be on a brief hold until the end of the NFL season in about 4 or 5 weeks, right? When the late night get right will transform into a college basketball play on Saturday nights. But for now, this is the last late night get right for a while. Now let's get to NFL Week 14 at 1 Eastern on Sunday at Nissan Stadium right up the road here in Music City. We got a fantastic matchup between two juggernauts. As 3-9 Tennessee is a 3.5-point favorite versus 2-10 Jacksonville. And the total's 39.5. Come on. Two teams who don't know how to win and are in the running for the title of worst team in the NFL meet up. And if you put a gun to my head and ask me to choose someone, I'll take Tennessee at home and lay the number. 1 Eastern on NBC at Hard Rock Stadium in Bienvenidos a Miami. 5-7 Dolphins are 6.5-point home chalk versus the 3-9 Jets. And the total's 45. Miami got it together when Tua returned from his 147th concussion until they ran into the cold weather of Wisconsin on Thanksgiving. Now they're back at home against a team that can't find the end zone with a GPS signal. Dolphins minus 6.5. 1 Eastern on Fox at US Bank Stadium in Stoniapolis. The 10-2 Vikings are 5.5-point home favorites versus 6-6 Atlanta. And the total's 45.5 in the Kirk Cousins Bowl. Cousins spent the last 6 seasons in Mini before jumping for Hot Town, and is coming off his worst showing as an Atlanta quarterback with 4 picks in last week's loss to the Chargers. Thanks, Kirk. Cost me there. The Vikings rebounded from 2 straight losses in October with 5 wins in a row, including a come-from-behind win over Arizona last week. I like Minnesota, but have massive questions about Sam Darnold, and I'll gladly take Kirk Cousins in his return to Stoniapolis, especially coming off a bad week. Atlanta plus 5 and a chunk. 1 Eastern on Fox at Snoopyville in New Jersey. Another fantastic matchup has 2 Super Bowl contenders, as 4-8 New Orleans is a 5-point road favorite at the 2-10 Giants, and the total is 40. Yeah, welcome to the modern day NFL. The Saints are a mess, but they're light years ahead of the Giants right now, who haven't won in what seems like a few years. Seriously, does anybody listening right now remember the last time the New Jersey Giants won a game? Yeah, I don't either. The problem that the Giants have is that they never get what they need. Well, they need to lose here to help their draft status. That means they'll do it. I'm certifiably insane, so give me the Giants plus 5 at home with a sprinkle. Why not?
Big timer, big time.
Get it, 40. Get it.
Sprinkle me, man.
Attaboy. That's what I'm talking about. 1 Eastern on Fox at the Link in Stonydelphia. The 10-2 Eagles are 12.5-point home favorites versus 3-9 Carolina, and the total's 45.5. Philly is realistically the only team in the NFC with a shot to beat Detroit in January, because man for man, the Eagles may have the best roster in the NFL. I honestly believe that. While those you Jalen Hurts haters, Kirk, condemn Philly, I have one word for you. Saquon. As good as Philly's been, though, very quietly, Bryce Young is turning into a quarterback. He really has. And the Panthers have now covered 4 straight, including last week when I had them to cover.
Hoo-ah!
And they do. That's what they've been doing, right? Bryce Young has turned into a quarterback. I'm going to roll with them again. Why not? Philly wins, and Philly's been on a roll, covering too. But Carolina covers here. Panthers plus 12 and a hook. 1 Eastern on CBS at the stadium formerly known as the Giant Ketchup Bottle in the Steel City. 9-3 Pittsburgh is a 6.5-point home favorite versus 3-9 Cleveland, and the total's 43.5. Give me a second. The Steelers have won 4 out of 5, and the Browns have lost 3 out of 4. But that win was over Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago in the snow in Cleveland. Now, right now, Pittsburgh is cruising, and the Browns are clearly struggling.
Struggling.
Say it again, Joe.
Struggling.
Thanks, Joe. The struggle is real. The struggle is real. Jameis Winston broke my heart on Monday night after a 500-yard passing performance. Not going to happen again. I can't do it. Steelers get their revenge. Pitt minus 6.5. 1 Eastern on CBS at the Sombrero in Tampa. The 6-6 Bucks are 7-point home chalk versus the 2-10 Raiders, and the total's 45. Tampa's won 2 straight and know they need to win the NFC South in order to slide into the playoffs, though. Atlanta, who's a game ahead of them, beat them twice. The Raiders, who I hit with on Black Friday, right? You're welcome for that. Al, wait, hold on. Al, where are you? Keep it coming.
Hoo-ah!
That's right. I just wanted to make sure you're still listening, Al. You're welcome. The Raiders are just a complete mess. Sorry, they are. Yeah, they look good against Kansas City, but they always do. Bucks minus 7. 4 Eastern, Sunday on CBS at State Farm Stadium in Glendale. The 6-6 Cardinals are 3-point home favorites versus 7-5 Seattle, and the total's 45. 2 weeks ago, the Seahawks took out Arizona in Seattle and now lead the NFC West by a game. Since nobody in the NFC West is very good, and the winner of that division will probably be 9-8, I don't see a team getting to 3 games over 500. Cardinals minus 3. 4:25 Eastern on Fox at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Always up to no good. The 10-2 Buffalo Bills are a 4-point road favorite at the 6-6 Rams, and the total's 49. Now that the whole world's in love with Buffalo and Josh Allen is the MVP, a week before a huge visit to Detroit, this is the perfect opportunity for the Bills to overlook a team that they're clearly better than. Plus, with a Cardinals win and a Rams win, 3 teams in the NFC West will all be 7-6. Buffalo may not lose, but they won't cover. They just won't. Ram Chops plus 4.5. How do they get there? By hanging around.
Hanging around. Kids got alligator blood.
Yes, the Ram Chops are like Mike McD. Alligator blood. 4:25 Eastern on Fox at 501 Denim Jeans Stadium in the Silicon Valley. 5-7 San Francisco is a 4-point home favorite versus 4-8 Chicago, and the total's 44. The Niners season is toast with massive injuries, late game collapses, and 3-game losing streak at the worst time. The Bears haven't been the same since the Hail Mary, and now Matt Eberflus is out of a job. My theory of teams with a head coach that just got fired always cover in their first game will be put to the test here because I don't believe in the Bears at all. Niners minus 4. A hit last Sunday night with the Bills over the Niners on Sunday night got me to 8-5. While I've been waiting all day for Sunday night, shout out Carrie and her legs. Man, her legs. Sorry. This Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern on NBC at racially insensitive Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, where the 11-1 Chiefs are 4-point home favorites over the 8-4 Chargers, and the total's 43. KC is the worst 11-1 team in NFL history, and they failed to cover in 6 straight, while the Chargers, just like Washington, the NFC, are the best team in the business at beating bad teams, but can't beat good ones. It's what they are. So is Denver. The Chiefs' losing streak to the number ends right here. Sorry, it does. Got to take them. Chiefs -4. And finally, Monday night's disaster goes at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN at Jerry World in Arlington, where the 4-8 Bengals are 5.5-point road favorites at the 5-7 Cowboys, and the total's 50. Dallas has won 2 in a row, which is a shocker in itself, and the Bengals have lost 4 out of 5, and they're a mess. Both teams can score, especially Cincinnati, but the Bengals' defense is so bad that I'll take Dallas and the points on Monday night, and I'll also take over 50 to close out the week. Now that's 14 plays, right? 14 NFL plays to go along with 10 college football and 15 college hoops. That gives us 39, but I've already given you 15. Right? So we're already at 54 plays. Get ready for a ton of college basketball coming this Saturday, right? This is going to be the first Saturday where it's like glaring. There's like 100 games to choose from. So make sure to check the comment section for our daily hoops picks. And check back next Wednesday as Stoniecast 155 will be coming back at you. Until then, just remember that if you want to win big, you got to bet big. You can't go broke taking a profit. Scared money don't make money. For me, the action is the juice. The difference between winning and making money is that anyone can win betting chalk, but you can't make money unless you take the dogs. Do you want to win or do you want to make money? Big difference. You choose. There's money on the streets that can't be ignored. And finally, good luck to you.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.